Hello, I'm Sasha, your host. I hope you have not forgotten me in this time period of a break. So, I am back with another series of episode which actually is going to take you much deeper. And I want to start today by saying something before I delve into what I am up to. Thank you. Not in the way people say thank you at the end of the things, but in the way you say thank you when something has genuinely moved you. Because you, everyone who has listened to this show, who has shared it, sent a message saying it helped, you are the reason the next series to be exists. You asked for what comes next. You told me what you needed, and I listened. What you asked for, what you told me was missing, what you said you were still looking for, has become the blueprint for my next 5 episodes. So, this introduction is not me announcing what I decided to make. This is me telling you what we have built together. Series 2B, Conscious Living. It begins now. Before I tell you what is coming, I want to take one moment to acknowledge where we have been. 10 episodes. We started by asking what it means to feel lost and discovered it might be a beginning instead of being an ending. We rebuilt self trust, found the small habits that quietly heal, learned to stand in the pieces when the plans broke, built peace not by waiting but by choosing it. We went deeper. We opened our hands, we broke patterns, we learned to draw boundaries, and we let ourselves be seen. And then we finally arrived home. That was the inner work, release, and rebuild. And it was some of the bravest inner work I have ever had the privilege of sharing and exploring with anyone. But here is what I know about the people who listen to this show. You do not stop, you keep going. You keep asking the next question. And the next question, the one you have been sitting with, is this: now that I have done some of the releasing, how do I actually live consciously, intentionally, awake to my own life in a way I have never quite managed before? That is what Series 2B is all about. You told me what you needed. I want to say it back to you. So here is what I have to offer. So you know you were heard. You asked about karma. You asked about the cycles that seems to follow you through relationships, situations, across your own life, and perhaps your family's history too. You wanted to understand what those cycles actually are and whether they can be changed. You asked about balance, not the curated aspirational version, the real one, the honest practice of saying upright when life is pulling you in 7 different directions, of returning to yourself again and again when everything feels like too much. You asked about mindfulness and what it really means, not as a concept, not as a practice that requires a cushion and an hour of silence, but as something you actually can live in the ordinary, busy, complicated reality of your actual life. And you asked about awareness, about what it means to stop running an autopilot, to actually wake up not once dramatically, but again and again in the smallest, most ordinary moments of every day. You asked for all of that, and I built upon those notes that I have curated with some of the feedbacks that I have got for all of you that will help you in life. So, let me take you inside what is about to come. I have curated these names specifically, mentioning and taking care of what I was given as a feedback. Episode 11 is called The Cycles We Carry. Some of the things keep on repeating in your life. They did not begin with you. Some were given to you by your parents, grandparents, or by the generations of people who loved you and did not know what they were passing on. This episode will help you recognize those cycles, understand them with compassion, not blame, and becoming, perhaps for the first time in your family's history, the one who actually make the change. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Episode 12, I have named it as The Art of Balance. I feel balance is not a destination you reach and stay at. It is a daily, dynamic, deeply personal practice of returning to yourself when life tips. And in this episode, we stop pretending balance looks like a perfect morning routine, start talking about what it actually takes to stay grounded in a life that will never slow down for you. Episode 13 is called The Practice of Presence. It is not meditation, not even a technique. It is a simple, radical healing act of actually being where you already are, of coming back to this breath, this moment, this one life you are actually living, instead of the future you are worried about or the past you are still replaying. Episode 12 is called Waking Up to Your Own Life. How much of your day do you actually remember? Not the highlights, the ordinary moments, the quiet choices, the small accumulation of things that together are your life. This episode is about waking up to them, not once, but again and again, in the most ordinary moments of your most ordinary days. And what comes next is most important part. Episode 15. Episode 15, The Whole You, the grand finale of the inner compass of the series. The episode 1 I have been rebuilding toward since I started this show. The one that brings everything, every conversation, every practice, every moment of honest self examination across 15 episodes into single complete whole. I am not going to tell you what happens in it. I'm going to ask you to walk with me all the way there. So, are you ready for the 15 episodes from I Feel Lost to the whole of you? That journey we are going to discover in the next series. That is the arc of this show. That is the journey we have been together on, and one we are about to complete. I want you to know, whether you have been here from the beginning or whether you're finding this show for the first time today, there is a place for you in this story, because the inner compass is not something I give you, it is something you already have. I am just trying to make you aligned with your inner compass and awaken to yourself. These episodes are not the compass. They are just the conversation, the inner conversation that help you remember that you always had that inner compass. You were never without the direction. You were never without any of those situations. I know you were never beyond healing. You were never too lost, too broken, too late. You were always on your way home. So, stay tuned. Episode 11 drops next week. And here is I want to tell you and ask you before it does. Follow the show on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, even on YouTube, wherever you feel to listen, because I do not want you to miss what is coming. Not this series, not this far into the journey. If series 1 and series 2A have given you something, share this introduction with one person who is ready for it. Not just anyone, the specific person who you feel is carrying something heavy right now, who is in the middle of a cycle they cannot name, who is looking for balance they cannot find, who is longing to feel more awake to their own life. That person needs this, and you know who they are. Send it to them, not later, but today. So, series 2B is about conscious living, and it begins now. Together we heal, together we grow, together we rise. I will see you in episode 11. Come ready to go somewhere deeper and somewhere new. These episodes are not the compass. They are just the common conversation that we miss out upon, and that will help you remember it has been always within you. See you in the next one, in episode 11. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good time.